do a live, but sadly, that live got deleted, and we have to use this for a YouTube video this week. So we're gonna do another one. Well, everybody that hasn't joined another one, basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna read some creepy stories.
Yeah, and you guys can just watch, because we love creepy stuff, and we wanted to bring this to you guys on a podcast, so hope you guys enjoy. This is the first story, gonna be read by Twiki.
Yep.
It's called, My Roommate Has Been in the Shower for More Than 4 Hours. This one's not that long. I mean, yes it is, it's a really long story, but that's fine. We'll be fine. Yeah, we're gonna actually see if we have to use highlights to do this. I don't know, actually, if we need highlights to record this. If you guys know how to do this, or if it's just gonna upload after the live stream, please tell us, because we have no idea what we're doing. This is our first live stream.
Yeah, if you guys are being all cringe and, yeah, so. Anyways, let's start off. My roommate has been in the shower for more than 4 hours. So I got home around 11 p.m. Late night at the office turned into an even later night at the bar. I'm about 4 drinks deep at the point, and I'm just tired. I'm just about to fall asleep, and I stumbled through the doorway, lay on the couch, and reach for my bag of joints and spark up as I pull on YouTube on my laptop. I'm in the middle of watching luxury cruise tours, clothes passing out, and I hear the front door open. I sit up and I turn my head slightly, just enough to see my roommate coming in. He hangs his jacket in the closet, and he doesn't say anything and walks slowly into his room, which is normal enough. I'd been living with him for about 3 months, long enough to know that long enough for me to pick up on most of his tendencies. This guy really doesn't talk unless spoken to, which is far from a problem for me. He's genuinely kept his things clean on his end and never causing much of a problem. I really couldn't complain. So I go back to watching YouTube for about 5 minutes later. I hear the shower in his room turning on. Once again, nothing strange. At this point, I'm watching bare knuckle boxing highlights with my eyes half open, maybe 1 or 2 minutes away from passing out. I remember waking up in the darkness, my head hurting, and my throat dry as heck. I sat up slowly, waiting for the grogginess to settle in something manageable. Once it did, I grabbed my phone, checked around the time. It's around 3:30 a.m. From what I remember, I was starving, so I got up, began to walk towards the fridge, and I noticed it. A soft but ever-present noise in the background. It took me a few seconds to recognize it. What it was, the shower. Suddenly, the events of the night began replaying in my head. Drinking at the bar, Ubering home, laptop, couch, my roommate coming home, turning to the shower, turning on. I stood there for a while, trying to make sense of it. Maybe he went to bed and forgot to turn it off. I shook my head. There's no way that happened, I thought. Maybe he slipped and fell. Realizing the implications of this, I rushed towards the room and found his bathroom door locked. I began pounding on it. Hey man, you alright? No response. I considered kicking the door down, but decided to call 911. Before I did that, I took my phone out, preparing to dial, and when I noticed I had an unread text from one of my roommates. Hey man, I couldn't sleep, so I went over to my girlfriend's place. Not sure when I'll be back. Sent 2 hours ago. I looked at the bathroom door and then set my phone back down. Everything about this was wrong. First of all, my roommate barely texts me. Certainly, never to tell me when he's going out. Second of all, I know the fact that he's single and has been for a while. And third of all, who the F is this in the shower then? I tried calling him, no answer. Then sent some text, but no response. I walked over to his desk and saw his keys in his wallet beside the laptop. My head turns, starting to spin. At this point, I get out of there. Go back into the living room and turn on the lights. I'm pacing in a circle, trying to follow the plot and trying to ignore the shower and a noise that I couldn't imagine being so dreadful in any context. Sometimes later, I hear something vibrating in the kitchen counter. I move towards it and see what it is. That it's my phone, my roommate's phone. Then panic began sitting in, and immediately grabbed my car keys and ran out of the apartment. I make my way down the hall and take the stairs down to the lobby, but even then, that doesn't seem far enough away, and so I make my way over to McDonald's across the street. I sit there for a while considering calling the cops, but for some reason feeling too nervous to do it. But even though there was hardly anybody there, the place began feeling suffocating, and I decided to leave, walking back to the empty streets. Almost immediately, I get this feeling that I'm being watched. I feel my gaze drifting towards the apartment. Soon, I'm looking over the balcony and I see someone standing there. A dark figure, still completely stiff, to the point where I nearly resemble a mannequin. But it isn't one. If I look closely, I can see it's slightly swaying in a frozen pace, and my mind hardly able to understand or accept what I'm seeing. 1 second. Okay. Hardly to accept what I'm seeing. I see not my roommate. It's too tall. In fact, it's too tall to be anyone I know. Its head is scraping the bottom of the balcony above. No matter how hard I tried, I couldn't make out of its details. The darkness in the distance may have enough to explain that way. But there was something about it. Something drove me towards different conclusions. That it simply possessed no details and couldn't have been observed. That's the only element of composition that was unreadily dark. Of course, my gut instinct was to get the heck away from it, but the voice in my head was telling me that if I would try to run, the thing would end up following me. I went back to McDonald's instead, locking myself in the bathroom, and I finally dialed 911. I told the operator that somebody's broken into my place and that I had gotten out of it without them noticing, but they're still there, and the story was accurately representation the situation without making it come across as bad. Blank. The operator told me that they'd be sending somebody over for me to hang tight. I left the bathroom, walking at the table closest to the exit until I could see the red and blue lights cutting through the darkness. I went outside to meet the cop, looking at the balcony and finding it empty. Through the door, the living room had been left open. They punted me a bunch of questions, and I found it difficult to answer. Is the intruder armed? Do I have any idea who it might be? What are their intentions? I told them I don't know, and that it couldn't be that figure out there. I was just asking them, and they just kept asking questions. Soon I was practically yelling at them to go up there and check it out for themselves. I suppose the terror in my voice was enough for them to begin to take it seriously. They told me to wait by the entrance, and I watched on as they entered the building. I was out of time, growing increasingly anxious through what was going on, and they told me to calm down. A few minutes later, as the silence broke by a single muffled gunshot, my heart dropped into my stomach, and I continued to wait there, unsure of what to do otherwise. 20 more minutes of silence, and the officer hadn't come down. Soon I could hear more of them approaching in the distance. Before I knew it, 4 more cops had pulled up around me, and the scene had fallen into chaos. Officers shooting over each other and their radios. Even more questions being hurled my way, none of which I'd been able to answer. The next few sequences were mostly a blur, but the building was being evacuated by attendants, frightened and confused, but as they ushered outside, while the officers became more frantic. I remember hearing scattered gunshots, some screaming, other noises were difficult to make sense of. There were few laps of my memory. After that, I was being recalled, being pushed back by an police car. After being driven to the station, I was led to one of the interrogation rooms, where I found 2 nondescript men in suits waiting for me. They didn't introduce themselves, and they immediately went into a series of questions, each one more bizarre than the last. What company was your roommate employed by? What was the nature of his job? How many people inside your apartment since your roommates moved? How have you heard the voices in your apartment hours of last midnight, 3 a.m.? We're gonna check the chat here, see if any of you are talking. Nope, not yet. That's fine. And the most unsettling ones. Have you ever seen standing at the foot of your bed one morning between hours of midnight and 3 a.m., only for them to disappear moments later? If so, do you remember what they looked like? Any distinct features? As they continued prodding me, my mind conjured up with some strange stuff that had happened after my roommate moved in. Things that I had written off as fragments of my imagination, simply because I had no other explanation for them. I didn't hear the voices. They've always coming from my room next to me where my roommates sleep. I was always so tired when I heard them. But I do remember sounding like a young woman or a man with an extremely deep voice. I can never make words of it. It's down gibberish. We're gonna turn on some jazz music here. Just some cozy stuff. Tell me if it's too loud, guys. Okay. After doing my best to give them the most useful information. Wait. Oh. Yeah. After giving my useful information, the suits spent a a few minutes taking notes on their phone. Once they were done, they sat up quickly, told me they'd be in touch with me before the room. A cop came in a few minutes later and told me since I couldn't return to the apartment, they would set me up in a nearby hotel until they were able to get the situation under control, and that I should stay put until they gave me a call. What happened? I asked him. What did you find up there? He stared at me for a long time. Not as if he were deep in thoughts, but as he held an evasion for considering telling me. Eventually he shook his head. I don't know, he said. I really don't know. I nodded, tried to smile through. I'm sure I didn't come across very well. The next day in the hotel, of course, I couldn't sleep. I couldn't really eat. The officer hadn't called me yet. I tried searching up information of the evacuation on the internet. All I could find is articles claiming that it was due to fire. A fire? Update. I fell asleep and I woke up. It's 11 a.m. now. And I can hear the shower. That is something, alright. That's a good story. Let's see the comments are. Dang. Okay. Well, yeah. We're gonna read one more story to you guys because we don't really have that much time since that last stream, well, basically killed all of our time. And yeah, it didn't upload.
Yeah, but that's okay. We'll have one more stream, one more little creepy story for you guys. That one, I like that one. How about that?
Yeah, I think that was my favorite one. Read all day.
Yeah, it was okay. It was good. It was good. Okay, let's read this one that we've already read in our last stream. But people aren't going to be able to see that, and if you haven't joined, well, here's the stream. Well, here's this. Okay. Tricky, you want to read this one?
I'll read this one. Okay. I've been trying to leave my bathroom for the last 30 minutes. I can't leave my bathroom. About 30 minutes have gone and About 30 minutes ago, I got out of the shower and dried off, put my PJs on, opened the door, and I walked out, only to find myself in the bathroom, staring at the closet door. I stopped. I tried to rationalize what just happened to me. I convinced myself that it was just simply my imagination that had opened the door and stepped out. So I tried again. I pushed the door handle down, opened it, stepped out, and yelled again. And yet again, found myself in the bathroom, standing at the front door of the closet door. This has happened to me every single time I've tried to leave. I keep my phone in my bathroom with me when I'm showering because I live alone and just in case, for safety. For the first thing, I call. Actually, we do not have enough time left, but basically, this is like a little portal thing created where people take and they put like people in different dimensions, and you can only access the real world with your phone. And some people claim that we live in a simulation and that's actually the real dimension, and this is not the real dimension. So that's kind of creepy. But yeah, I hope you guys had a good time on this live stream. Sorry that we couldn't upload the other live stream. And yeah, we'll see you again for another live stream soon, hopefully. Yeah, Johnny?
Yeah. So, bye guys.
Bye! Have a great day.